Hey guys, it's a Sectional Violence here. We have another one for you. We have UFC Paris coming at you very soon, next weekend. And I think this is a pretty good card. How many fights do we have in total? We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, like 14, 15 fights. That's an amazing card right there. We'll get right into it though. We got Bolaji OG versus Chris Duncan. So the thing about Bolaji Oki is the guy has pretty sound striking, technical, but he's unproven. His wins are, you know, questionable. Kwamba was a pretty close fight. I thought he won, but Kwamba could have stole it. A smaller guy too. I feel like Duncan poses more of a uh, poses a bigger threat, being bigger. Good grappling, decent grappling game from Duncan. I do worry about the chin of Duncan. Oki is a heavy hitter. Uh, the guy's dangerous. He hasn't really had that many good wins. Still in Salvador is a decent win. You know, Kwamba's a decent win. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter or anything. I'm just think Oki shouldn't be as big of a favorite. I think Oki is decent, but I think it should be like a pick'ems. It's a close fight. The value's all over Duncan, so if I were to bet this fight, I would probably tell you to take Duncan. But yeah, this is a fight that I would probably tread carefully on. Chris Duncan, he's he doesn't like he doesn't throw a lot of volume, but he throws heat and he can be very dangerous. He got submitted by Manuel Torres, which isn't a great look, but Manuel Torres is just like freakishly strong, like Dricus. Um, Not like exactly like Dricus, obviously, but he's pretty strong. Ashmuz, yeah, he beat Ashmuz, who I rate is a lot better than Oki, or not a lot better, but probably similar to Oki. I think Chris Duncan can win this fight. Will I bet it? Probably not, just because it's a pretty volatile fight. But if I were to bet this fight, it'd probably be Chris Duncan. He is got more paths to victory, and he's an underdog, and I think it should be a pick 'em. So, interesting fight here. But I'm gonna have to go with the established, um, not established, sorry, the new prospect in Oki. I think that's my pick. Let me check here. I could be wrong. Can't remember exactly what I have on this fight. It is Paris. This coming week. Yeah, I slightly lean Oki, but it's a very close fight. Moving on. And the reason I had slightly lean Oki is because of his athleticism. I believe he's going to be able to stuff Chris Duncan's takedowns, but you never know. He had trouble with Timmy Kwamba, so who's much smaller. This should be an interesting fight. Moving on. We have Nora Cornolle versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Cavalcanti's a pretty sound fighter, man. She uses her footwork, her angles. She has good long range. She uses her jab. Like she's a pretty effective striker. She does what she needs to do. She works the body. Not often, but she does. She changes levels. I think she's a pretty decent fighter. She has decent wins. Melissa Cronin's a decent win. Josie Nunez is awful. Farron's awful, but other than that, she has some decent win. The only thing I don't like about her is she has a split decision loss to Jindarova, who I don't rate very highly. Um, yeah, this is a fight that I'm gonna go with Cavalcanti here, but honestly, this is a coin flip. You're fighting Nora Canole, and I believe Nora Canole is from Paris. If I could be wrong. Yeah, she's from Paris. She's gonna be the crowd favorite. She brings the action. She throws heat. She could be on sauce. Yeah, she's dangerous, and she beat Jocelyn Edwards by robbery. She's just there. She's gonna be dangerous. She she has pretty vicious intent when she throws. Cavalcanti's more throwing for volume, whereas Cornell's throwing to hurt you. So I don't know, man. This is a hard fight. Who do I have in this fight? I think I'm leading Cavalcanti. Yeah, right now I'm leading Cavalcanti just because of the opponent change. JDR. But man, I could switch back to Cornell here. This is a really hard spot for me to call. I think Cavalcanti looked good in her last outing. Looks, like she can put a solid 15 minutes together. But the problem with Cavalcanti is has she been cracked, and losing to Jindarova is not a good look. So I'm gonna go with Cavalcanti here, but I'm not confident. And this is a 50 fight. Sorry guys, I had a meal. You're gonna have to bear with me. But yeah, moving on. We have Victor Altamirano versus Daniel Barez. So Daniel Barez, I want to say Daniel Barez is like a really good fighter, and he's not bad. He's just regionally good. Like he'll win most of the fights on the regional scene, but I think Daniel Barez, he struggles with his volume. He has decent calf kicks. He can be dangerous, but he got submitted by Jafel Filo. I think Victor Altamirano, as much as I give him crap, he's a decently mid fighter. If you look at the guys Perez is beating, it's like split to Carlos Hernandez. I don't take anything from him on that performance. That was a really good fight. But split to him, got subbed by Filo in the first round. I can't trust Perez. Um, this is a hard one for me. I always want to fade Altamirano, so right now I have Perez. But for now, but honestly, I could see myself switching to Victor Altamirano just with the size, the reach, the mix of the grappling. I just think Daniel Perez is a hybrid fighter that's decent enough to beat Altamirano. Could be wrong. This is a pretty close fight. There's a lot of fights on this card that are really close. You couldn't pay me to bet on these fights. These are really, really hard fights to call. Um, I hate betting against Vito Altamirano. He's just so awkward. He knows how to find ways to win fights, whether it's mixing in his grappling, which is not great, but it's decent enough to win. Like it's just a funky style to fight, and I think Daniel Perez should be able to win with having decent enough striking. Um, Calf kicks. I think he should be able to mix in. No, I don't think he'll mix in any crap grappling because if he does, then he'll gas himself out. He's had a camp for this fight too. It's not a short notice opportunity like his last one. I think he wins this fight, but it's a really, really close fight. Would not advise betting this fight. Moving on, we have Ailin Perez versus Darya Zheleznyakova. Ailin Perez is awful. She is decent enough to win fights, but she is pretty awful. Darya Zheleznyakova at least has decent striking. The grappling of Perez isn't bad. It's just not amazing. Like it's pretty overrated if you ask me. Like she can't. Her positional control is mid. She's fighting girls with like terrible get-ups. Pudalova's get-ups awful. Evan Smith's get-up. She's not even like competing actively right now. Josie and Edwards, she brick hips. She can't really get up. Like yeah, she got subbed by Stephanie Egger. Like this girl's not who everyone makes her out to be. I think Darya Zheleznyakova is going to pick her apart on the feet. I'm going to go with Darya Zheleznyakova here. I feel like if she loses a round, I could see it, but I feel like she's going to be able to stay on her feet for at least 2 rounds and pick apart Ailin Perez for a decision win. I think she has okay ground and pound, but against girls with not the greatest, get up game. I think training at MMA Factory, I think Zheleznyakova is getting decent looks in. I think she is the A side fighting in Paris. I feel like everything is saying Darya here. She's plus 200, which makes absolutely no sense. Ailin Perez makes so many mistakes. She's not good. If this was like a pick'ems, I wouldn't even play this fight. I actually might play it a little smaller on Darya, but I just feel like Darya is a much better fighter than her. I could be wrong. I faded Perez in fights where she's won, like Edwards. It was pretty big on Edwards. But I think this is the one where I finally get her. I think this is the one where Daria finally wins. So I think Goched's a great gym, but I don't like Ailin Perez is that good, and I think she's gonna get beat here. I think she's gonna get picked apart on the feet. You never know. Maybe she can pull off another greasy decision, but we'll see. I'm on Darya Zheleznyakova here, and yeah, I'm pretty confident. Moving on, we have Vince Morales versus Taylor Lapilus. Now, this is a fight that just got added short notice. Taylor Lapilus is he's decent. He's a pretty good fighter. He's a hometown guy. Like the thing about him is he's not that active, and then what he does is just not that damaging. Like I won't say not that active, not that like impactful with what he throws. He just throws to throw. I think Taylor Lapilus is going to pick apart. Like he's very technical. I feel like he's going to outstrike Vince Morales to a decision, but I could see Morales out grappling Lapilus in moments and getting maybe a fluke submission. I don't know. Lapilus is super experienced. 20-4. He's not that good, but he's pretty good. He TKO'd DeMarte Pena, who's not that great, but he beat him. Colin Loughran dominated him. Cody Stamann dominated him. I feel like he might have trouble though, because Vince is not just a grappler; he's a hybrid, and Farid's a hybrid, and he had some success. So it's one of those things that like I don't know. Taylor Lapilus should win, but I could see a world where like his value doesn't cover, and I'm not gonna take a chance here. I think Lapilus wins. Lapilus' decision is probably the best play. I don't think he gets many TKOs. He has a few, like Nate Maness, you got to finish over him. But man, I don't know. I don't know with this one. This one is for a betting perspective an interesting one. I think Vince Morales is not someone you want to sleep on. He is coming off some decent wins. He just submitted Hunter Azure by Peruvian necktie, coming off a Darce choke. He's coming off a array of submission finishes. Um, TKO, he went 15 minutes. Like he's showing that he can, have a second run in the UFC. So I'm not sleeping on him. So I'm not going to take a bet on this fight, but I lean Lapilus here. I think Lapilus is the side. I would probably go 2-1 favorite at most. I think the odds are a little wide, but wouldn't play this fight. If it keeps going wider, I might have to sprinkle something on Morales, but I don't know. Probably won't. This is a pretty. This should be a Lapilus fight. Moving on, we have Ludovit Klein versus Roosevelt Roberts. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this fight. This is easy. The biggest
You gotta be first.
watching Ultimate Fighter. The easiest fight on the card. We have Ludovit Klein absolutely going to run through Roosevelt Roberts. Roberts 12-4, respectable record, but holy does he not belong in the UFC. Got absolutely smoked by Rebecca. Uh, Hubbard beat him pretty easily. His win over Jennerman is like whatever, Jennerman's awful. Um, he has no credible wins. Like he got this highlight reel finish by Bahamondes. He got submitted by Jim Miller. Like Klein's a different level. Like he is on a different frequency. The odds make sense. -700 should be -1,000. Like Klein has shown that he is a different level. He systematically beat up Thiago Moises. He has beat Mason Jones. He has beat Devontae Smith. Yeah, that loss at Nate Landwehr is not the greatest, but Nate Landwehr is a beast tamer. He's one of those anomalies. And the loss to Trezano, not great, but he has improved a lot since then. And I feel like he's going to have a lot more tools to win this fight. Grappling, striking. I got to go with Ludovit Klein here by TKO. I feel like he's going to catch him with a body shot or something. I feel like his kicks are going to be too much for the frail body of Roosevelt Roberts. I think Roosevelt Roberts is a scrapper. He comes from the streets. You know, he's down to scrap. He's not scared, but this is a fight I don't think he can win, and I'm gonna go with Ludovic unless he gets meme KO'd. I don't see a world where he loses this fight. Lock of the card, lock of the month, probably Ludovic Klein here. Moving on, we have Oumar Sy versus Dawoon Jung. Uh, Dawoon Jung, I think the odds are wide. I don't think he's terrible. I think he can make this pretty funky because he has some unorthodox grappling. Once taken down, it's pretty bad. He can't get up. But other than that, he's decent enough. Like he finds a way back up. Um, he's experienced. His chin's a liability, which I worry. But on the feet, I don't think size gonna pose him much of a problem. Like I think size main strength is grappling. And other than Ulberg submitting him, we haven't really seen too many holes in his grappling. Other than yeah, losing Devin Clark's also not the greatest, but I just think the guy is. not that bad. I think he can win. I think Jung can win. Now, am I picking him to win? No. I think Oumar Sy finds a submission. If you're getting submitted by Carlos Uber, you can get submitted by Oumar Sy. I think Oumar Sy is pretty good on the ground. The problem is, who has he really beat at the end of the day? He has beat Tuco Turcos, who is not great. He has beat Pauline Begay, who is, again, not great. And then he beat some other guys who aren't that great. It's like I have no Umar Sy has done nothing to show that he is at the level of the UFC other than a submission over Tuco Tucos. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Umar Sy here. If he loses, this will be very embarrassing, losing in your home to a guy that they're kind of trying to give you to win. It's not as easy as a win they're making it seem to be, but I feel like he should win this fight. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Umar Sy by first or second round submission. If he loses, then LOL. Moving on, we have Ion Cutelaba versus Ivan Erslan. I didn't even want to tape Ivan Erslan. This is just like, what have you done? Honestly, like this is one of those things. It's like, sure, you fought for KSW. Are you on the sauce? Are you not on the sauce? I don't know. All I know is this is a mystery box in my opinion. Whatever he comes in at the weigh-ins is how I'll judge him. Um, he probably on the sauce over at KSW. All the guys that study KSW probably know this guy pretty well. But if they're that confident in why are the odds only in pick'ems, I just don't rate these guys that well. I feel like, they need to be on the sauce to have their game plan, ape style work. And I feel like he doesn't get the KO on Cutelaba early. I just feel like this could be a fight that Cutelaba just, shows level is in. Is this a fight I'm interested in betting on? No. I think Cutelaba is very unreliable and, although he has at least had UFC fights and shown that what level he's at, he is not, consistent. His last win was against Tanner Boser, and before that he was on a 3-fight losing skid. So it's like I can't trust him. So I'm gonna go with Cutelaba off the simple fact that he's UFC fighter. But Ivan Erslan, honestly, this is a mystery box. We'll see at the weigh-ins what he looks like. I have no interest in playing this fight pre-flop. Um, not go the distance probably, most likely. And yeah, moving on. We have Fares Ziam versus Matt Frivola, Steamroller Frivola. This is an interesting one. Matt Frivola is not a fighter that you want to underestimate, but not a fighter that you want to put too much stock in because the guy did get KO'd by Terrence McKinney. His chin's very big of his chin's a liability. He got TKO'd by Benoit Saint Denis pretty badly, but he's got KO power and he's got good grappling. Like look at his fight against Arman Tsarukyan. You can't tell me this guy doesn't have good grappling. The only thing I worry about with him is his chin. And Fares Ziam isn't one of those guys that is out here highlighting people, so I'm not too worried about that. I think Fares Ziam's going to struggle with the grappling of Frivola, especially if he fights smart. If Frivola fights on the feet, then he deserves to lose. But I'm going to go with, man, I'm leaning Ziam, hometown, home cooking robbery. But man, I can see a world where Frivola just grapples him to a decision. So honestly, this is a close fight. Wouldn't bet this fight, but I lean Ziam here. I feel like as underdog odds, you kind of got to take a little sprinkle, but I personally wouldn't. But yeah, Ziam, he's not the greatest grappler, and he's mainly just working. He's a mid striker that is working on his striking defense, or not striking defense, takedown defense. And it's not bad. He's got decent takedown defense, but I don't think it's at the level like Claudio Puella's was looking like a D1 wrestler. And I just don't think that's a good look against guys like Matt Frivola, who's going toe to toe with Arman Tsarukyan in the grappling. So you know, levels fight. We'll see what happens. I somewhat lean Zion, but I could honestly switch by fight time. This is only because if this was anywhere else besides Paris, I'd probably take Frivola, but we'll see. We'll see if we get some home cooking. Moving on. We have Morgan Charriere versus Gabriel Miranda. Gabriel Miranda is, and again, another fighter you don't want to underestimate. The odds are doing a good job of that. They're giving him no chance to win this fight. And honestly, do I think he's gonna win? No, I think he's gonna lose the fight. He lost to Benoit Saint Denis pretty badly, TKO. I think Charriere is a very, very dangerous style on the feet for him. He's pretty good takedown defense. I think if Miranda can't get his grappling game going, I feel like he's gonna get a, rough 15 minutes or just get TKO'd. So I'm gonna go Charriere here, but Miranda's not a complete bum. He fought for Brave. He, finished Shane the Bum Young with ease, like he should have. The guy's not that bad, but I just don't feel like he's gonna pose that many threats to Charriere. So I'm gonna go with Charriere, especially in the hometown. Like this should be a layup for Charriere. I'm not gonna overcomplicate it. Some of these fights are just layups. You don't want to overcomplicate it. I think he's you know, such a dangerous striker. I feel like Gabriel Miranda is gonna get caught eventually in the 15 minutes. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't think Gabriel Miranda is at the level of a Charriere, but grappling wise, definitely I feel like he is. We'll see though if he can get it to the ground. I don't think he can. I'm gonna go Charriere, but I definitely wouldn't play this price at negative 550 because something could go wrong, especially when you're going life or death with Shepard Mariscal, who is good, but he's not that good. So yeah, interesting fight, but I'm gonna go with Charriere. I think the durability of Miranda is gonna be at question here, and I think Charriere is gonna finish him by TKO. Moving on, we have Kevin Jousset versus Brian Battle. Brian Battle. I like Battle. Honestly, this is a weird fight for me because I think technically you got to give it to Jousset, but Brian might be just as good as him. We don't know. This is a fight where Brian's going to show how good he is. I feel like Jousset's a fraud waiting to happen. He's going to lose eventually. Sure, he's from CKB, but he's French with a chin high. Not showing he's technical, but he doesn't look great in the pocket. I just feel like I don't know. Like Kenan Song win was sketchy. He was getting cracked at moments. I feel like Battle could sleep him. I'm gonna go with Jousset here as a lean, but only because it's in France and only because it's a close fight, and I feel like he can outpoint Battle. But I could see a world where Jousset gets slept. Like honestly, I don't know. Like Jousset, Jousset's beating guys like he should, but he's not at the level that people think he is or he thinks he is. I just think this is a show me spot for both guys, and we'll see who ends up pulling it out. I think Brian Battle is obviously the more battle tested. He's faced better guys. This is a close fight. This is a coin flip if I've ever seen one. I would not advise betting this fight. Yeah. Moving on, we have William Gomez versus Joanderson Brito. Joanderson Brito, man, it's hard to bet against this guy. This guy is a savage. He is very, very explosive, solid grappling, um, solid power. The problem is he doesn't have his energy conservation is not the greatest. Um, and yeah, it's just it's one of those things. Anderson Brito is a great hammer, but questionable nail. I think Gomez could pick him apart on the outside for 3 rounds. I just think Gomez is, especially on the ground, I feel like he is food. Especially like when I say bad nail, like Brito at least can survive. Like he didn't look that great against Bill Algeo, but at least he survived. And like he survives his rough moments. He's TKOing. Okay, that Jack Shore TKO is kind of sus. He TKO Jonathan Pierce, or he submitted Jonathan Pierce. TKO Weston Wilson. Like he does dispatch of people pretty easily and very, very dangerous. Like he TKO'd Shepard Mariscal. Like this guy's the real deal. I think he can finish this fight. I think the odds are a little wide, but I feel like they're justified. This guy's been on a winning streak. William Gomez might be shown levels here, so I'm gonna go with Brito here. I feel like Brito wins the fight by submission, but honestly, this could be another upset like a Bill Algeo where the technical striker that just has okay takedown defense can just beat Brito because Brito is what he's beatable at times, and he is putting together a solid 15 minutes for Brito can be challenging. But yeah, Brito is dangerous, and that's why I think he's gonna win this fight. I think if Francis Marshall could put you in compromising positions like that, I feel like Joanderson Brito could definitely find a submission. Will I bet this fight? Probably not, but I think Joanderson Brito wins this fight. I yeah. Moving on. We have Brendan Allen Allen versus Nassourdine Imavov. Now, Nassourdine Imavov, honestly, this this fight is this fight's a really hard one to call because I like Allen's grappling a lot more than I like Imavov, but Imavov is so good. People sleep on him. They think just because he got bullied by Strickland and his cardio is not great is why he will lose this fight. But he's fighting at home. The guys look better than ever in his last outing against Cannonier. The guy, I know it's styles make fights, but I feel like Imavov's like he didn't look great against Zhelezny, but Zhelezny's drags people into these sloppy fights. I feel like, and Imavov still managed to piece him up. Allen is definitely not going to win on the feet. His chin's a liability. And I just feel like Brendan Allen is, if you can't get him taken, if you can't out grapple Imavov, what's he gonna do? I'm gonna go with Imavov here. I am rooting for Allen, but I think Imavov's just gonna be the truth, and I feel like he's gonna cement his name in the division, and I feel like he's gonna be right there for a title shot after this. I think Brendan Allen is great, but he is not he's not the greatest now. He can survive against Chris Curtis, but when you're going life or death with Chris Curtis like that, Imavov's showed on the feet against Curtis that he's very dangerous, and I feel like he could beat Brendan Allen winning all over the like stuff the takedowns, make him pay. I feel like he can really outclass Brendan Allen here. I gotta go with Nassourdine Imavov here. This is a fight that honestly Brendan Allen has like not a lot like he has a lot to lose, but not a lot of people are giving him, at least not a lot of people in the community that I know are giving him a big chance here. I feel like a lot of people are on Imavov. I got to go with Imavov here. But yeah, I'm not betting him. Knowing his cardio over 5 rounds, it could get very sketchy. But I think Imavov is. I think Imavov's gonna find the finish early, like Cannonier. Um, we'll see though. Definitely a fight that I'm interested in watching. We'll see how it plays out. Cannonier is, or not Cannonier, Imavov is probably one of the stars of the card, so they're gonna look to him to win to make the crowd go crazy. But we'll see. Speaking of making the crowd go crazy, we have the main event. We have Renato Money Moicano versus Benoit Saint Denis. Benoit Saint Denis, he is very, very aggressive with his grappling, with his striking. He is looking for the finish. On the ground, he's a bit of an eight. I mean, he can be dangerous on the ground. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like Moicano is just as good as a grappler. This is a close fight. I wouldn't bet this fight. If you were, I want to say bet Moicano, because Moicano loves money, but eventually the joke is gonna run out. He is losing. He got out grappled by RDA. And Benoit Saint Denis, in my opinion, is a better offensive grappler. Could be wrong, but I think Benoit Saint Denis is very strong, and I feel like he can stuff the takedowns of Moicano and find a TKO. I think Benoit Saint Denis is going to win this fight. I don't like it. I want Moicano to win, but I think Saint Denis is a savage, and I think he's going to pose a lot of problems to Money Moicano, and I don't know if Moicano is going to have an answer to it. Definitely a fun fight though. We have a lot riding on this one for Perez. I doubt it's gonna. I feel like if Moicano wins, it'll be a pretty crazy win. I don't think it's gonna be close if he does win. I think if it goes to the scorecards, it's gonna favor Benoit. But yeah, interesting fight here. Really excited for it. Honestly, I think this could be a really good card. I'll give you guys my top five most confident picks, and then we'll get out of here. So number one, obviously we have Ludovit Klein. Number two, we have Taylor Lapilus. Number three, Oumar Sy. Number four, Nassourdine Imavov. Number five, Joanderson. Actually, number four, Joanderson Brito. Number five, Nassourdine Imavov. Or no, number five, number four, Morgan Charriere. Number five, number four, Charriere. Number five, Brito. Alrighty, guys, like, subscribe. You know the drill. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.